Hi everyone, Materim here again with another battle report. You'll notice this one is not a narrative battle because we were going to play D&D tonight, but some personal issues came up and we had to cancel, so we threw together this battle kind of impromptu just to have something to do on Saturday night. So we'll go ahead and get into the board in a second. It is a 2,500 point battle and we rolled Watchtower Scenario, so these are just kind of general lists that were not tailored for that scenario. Okay, here's the board. You can see the watchtower's in the middle, and the dwarves started off in control of the watchtower, but he did not have a 20-man unit of core to go in there, so it's empty. Normal hill, mysterious forest at the top, normal wall on the far right, and a mist-wreathed swamp down in the bottom left. So on the hill, the dwarves have a cannon with the rune of forging on it. Uh, on the ground there is a gyro bomber. Right behind that is an organ gun with the rune of forging and the rune of accuracy. And next to that is a gyrocopter with vanguard. Then he has a unit of 40 longbeards in horde formation with full command, shields, and the rune of stoicism. Next to that is a 20-man unit of hammers with full command, the master rune of Valia, and shields on them. That unit also has his Thane BSB with the Master Rune of Grommel and 3 runes of warding. And his Rune Lord with. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah. And his Rune Lord is actually on the Anvil of Doom hidden behind the forest. He has a Rune of Stone, Master Rune of Balance, Shield, and 2 runes of Spell Breaking on him. So for Empire, I have a Great Cannon, a Mortar. In front of that is a unit of 10 archers with a 5-man handgunner detachment. Then I've got 3 demigryphs with full command and the steel standard. Behind them is a unit of 20 swordsmen with full command. Then a Hellblaster volley gun, and there's a master engineer there who has the Pigeon Plucker pendant and the Ruby Ring of Ruin, and the Hawkland long rifle. Next to that is a unit of 20 great swords with full command. And I'm going to start off this side of the board with a confession. You see my Altar of More, which I use for Celestial Hurricanum there in the back. I'm not sure why. I've been very stressed out this week and put this list together at the last moment. And just forgot to put the Celestial Hurricanum on the list, but I put it on the board because I've been playing with it in every list I've made since I took over playing Empire. So it technically doesn't exist, but we don't remember that because I basically forget it's there for half the game until it gets charged late in the fourth or fifth turn. But as soon as we realize it, we take it off the board. So bad me. I have there my unit of 30 halberdiers in the purple and gold. They have 2 detachments, one of a 5-man archer unit that my level 4 mage is in to Lore of Life with Dispel Scroll and Talisman of Preservation, and a 15-man detachment of spearmen on the other side. That 5-man detachment of handgunners you see is actually detachment for the great swords. And then I have the steam tank holding down the far side. In the halberdiers, I also have Heinrich von Grunberg, my Archlector, with the armor of meteoric iron and the Dawnstone, and Captain Derek Hossberg, my BSB, with the Dragon Helm and the Talisman of Endurance and the Iron Curse icon. So the dwarves started the turn by vanguarding the one gyrocopter behind the tower so you can't see it. But I got first turn. So I took my demigryphs over here to the side because there's a lot of squishy targets over here and I need to get rid of some of that artillery. And I'm hoping maybe it'll draw his big horde off to the side because my total plan on this right now is just avoidance. Only thing I have in the whole army that can deal with it is my spellcaster got the level 6 life spell that just will eat the unit if I can get it off, but he's got a lot of magic defense, so I'm planning on just avoiding it and never engaging it, and hoping to draw it away from the watchtower long enough for me to win the game. And so I send my great swords towards the tower, because they're going to hold it. I'm thinking they're probably my best damage doers, so they'll be able to deal with anything that comes to try and take the tower, particularly since only 10 men can fight in it. You can see up in the corner that my halberdier unit's advanced, the normal swordsmen have advanced, and everything else is pretty much gonna stay where it is to hold the line. Um, and here is just a terribly blurry picture to show you where everything else is coming up along that side to get into something. I'm thinking at this point I probably made a mistake in not putting the halberdier unit towards the tower, but again, this was a really stressful day for me. I came home right after work and to play this game, so I'm making just a stupid number of mistakes here, and it's not going to go well for me. So my cannon takes a shot at his cannon, hits, wounds, and inflicts a single wound. And then my mortar misfires and blows itself up. Please take a moment to look at everything that is right here in this picture before we go on to the next. And we'll play a little game. What looks different? So, what looks different? If you said that the archers and the handgunners are no longer there, congratulations, you win. Everything over here failed its panic check from the mortar blowing itself up. So the cannon can't shoot next turn. The archers turn and ran their asses right off the board. And the handgunners are panicked, ran this way, and are on their way to run off the board. So my entire left flank just collapsed because a mortar blew itself up with no dwarves anywhere even in sight. So we go to dwarf turn 1. First thing he does is he flies his gyrocopter around here in front of my greatswords to line up its murder cannon. Then here he tries to fly over the demigryphs and do a bombing run with his gyro bomber. Misfires and inflicts 2 wounds to himself. And the only other movement he did is he moved his combat units up just a little bit. Ends up using the murder cannon to kill off better than a rank of greatswords, but they hold, so no panic there. And then his organ gun opens up on the demigryphs, kills one, and puts 2 wounds on the second one. So we go into Empire turn 2. Demigryphs charge the organ gun, because I just need to get that the hell out of the way. The greatswords go ahead and run into the tower. And everything on this side runs up towards the side of those hammers to try and stop them from getting into the tower. Because I still put my money on hammers being able to take out greatswords because they're just flat out better. As is, from what I'm seeing, everybody's elite troops, which makes me very sad because I like the greatswords. I just am having trouble thinking they're that good. Over here, I moved up the swordsman, kind of trying to tease this horde over, thinking maybe I'll get them to come over here and just kind of run them in circles for a little while, provided that they don't just run forward and crush the Watchtower. So on my turn, magic, I get off really the only spell I managed to get off all game, and I regrew all but 2 of the great swords in the tower. Alright, so here I use the steam cannon on that unit of hammers and take off 3 of them. Probably should have used the normal cannon. I would have done more damage, but this might have been another one of those misfire. I misfired like crazy with this thing. Might not have been able to use the cannon. I think that's why I did the steam cannon instead. And then in close combat, the Thunder Chickens managed to only kill a single crewman from the cannon. I was rolling like absolute shit and just couldn't get it done. So then on dwarf turn, I think this is 3, he flies over, or maybe this is 2, whatever. He flies the gyrocopter over my halberdier unit and does the bombing run thing they get once per game, and peeled off 3 more halberdiers from that unit. Then the gyro bomber did a bombing run over the swordsman, and it drifted so that it hit both the swordsman and the building, and I lost 1 swordsman and 1 greatsword from that. So over here, I did succeed in distracting him from the tower because he reforms to face the halberdiers and the steam tank that are coming in on his flank. And on this side, he brings that big horde around the tower to come after the swordsman. Now, this really surprised me. I didn't expect him to reform both units to get around the side of the tower. I thought he was going to throw that big horde against the great swords, but I think he figures he's got plenty of time. This is only turn 2 or 3, and he wants to get more death dealing before he stomps the great swords in the tower and takes it. So in shooting phase, he just lays down the death template again and peels off, what is that, 2, 4, 6, 8 more halberdiers off of the back of that unit. But luckily, they managed to pass their panic check and stay around. And then his cannon lands a perfect hit on my steam tank and inflicts 6 wounds on the damn steam tank. Then over here, his clatter gun off the gyro bomber kills 2 of my handgunners, and they break and flee that way. They do flee through the archers there with my wizard, but luckily they pass their panic check and don't follow suit. So in close combat, my demigriffs finally kill the cannon crew and reform to face his engineer Burlickson. He is the special character engineer there, which I guess I forgot to discuss when I was talking about the army placement. But yeah, he's there. So yeah, this must be Empire turn 3. So Empire turn 3, I charge the Thunder Chickens into Grim Burlockson, who, yeah, I'm not too worried about. He is definitely not a combat character, and there's still enough punch in that unit to take him out. And over here, I send my steam tank through the forest to crush his Anvil of Doom. He's been getting that armor buff spell off on some stuff, and I want to stop that. Not to mention, he has a lot of dispelling power in that guy, with the Master Rune of Balance and the extra dice that the Anvil gives. I'm hoping the steam tank will just run its ass down and I don't have to worry about it anymore, because that would be freaking amazing. And then I charge my halberdier unit into his hammer unit. Now, I know I didn't maximize correctly, so it gets fixed in the next shot, but yeah, I'm not thinking too great here. Halberdiers, particularly half a unit of them, don't really stand up to hammerers, so I'm thinking this is just kind of a delaying tactic. And then I turn my spearman around to face the gyrocopter, and I bring up my Altar of More in the center so it's giving its bonuses, although we still have yet to figure out that it doesn't exist. So I guess it was good, because I actually still ended up forgetting to give it the +1 in the halberdier fight, so the 1 point it probably could have been useful, I forgot to do it anyway, so it's probably karma, because it shouldn't be there. And over here, I run these archers with my mage over, because I know this is my one chance to get off Doom and take these guys down, because it's really my only hope. I can't handle 40 Longbeards any other way. But he's going to end up spell eatering it because I can't cast for shit and the spell goes away. So my cannon finally annihilates his cannon, which just had it coming. That should have happened turn 1, but what are you going to do? And I finally managed to take this gyrocopter down, but I have to use the freaking Hellblaster volley gun to do it, because there's nothing else that's been able to hurt the damn thing all game. So I do manage to take him down. So we go into combat, and obviously the demigriffs kill Grim Burlockson, and they're going to reform to face sort of the center of the board where everything else is. And over here, he manages to kill 5 halberdiers and my BSB, but I managed to kill, I think it was 10 hammerers. So I won this, but he's stubborn and doesn't give a shit on his stubborn, rerollable 10 leadership BS. So dwarf turn, he charges the Longbeard unit at my swordsman, and I absolutely flee. Um, Mainly because I just want him to waste some time and hopefully draw him a little further away from the tower. Because if he had hit my swordsman, he would have just bowled through him, turned around, and reformed. So I'm kind of hoping to buy myself a couple of extra turns. If I can get to turn 4 and get a lucky roll, I can still win this game. And over here, sorry for the blurry picture. He charges, basically kills during combat and overruns or chases down my halberdiers and my general unit and slams into the front of the non-existent Celestial Hurricanum, which this is the point we realize it's not there, so we just take it off the board and give him the free reform to make up for the fact that I've been a dirty cheater all game. So then we go into Empire turn, I think this is turn 4. I move my demigryphs over to try and get to where I can charge next turn that small unit of hammers and hopefully take them out. Okay, I actually lied. It wasn't until combat on this point on this turn, that we found out the Celestial Hurricanum wasn't there, because I looked on my army builder sheet for the stats and couldn't find it, and that's how we figured it out. So it's actually during combat on my turn that we take it off the board and give him the free reform. But over here, this just shows that my 5-man archers or rather, the 3-man handgunners came back. My cannon grape shots his gyro bomber and managed to finish that off. And in this shot, not only do you see that the swordsman rallied, but the Hellblaster let loose on those iron or the Longbeards and end up killing 3 of them from the back. And this just goes to show where that reform happened after we realized the mistake with the Hurricanum. So you may have noticed that I haven't talked about this forest and the steam cannon or the steam tank versus Anvil of Doom fight that's been going on there. That's because absolutely nothing has happened. I completely fluffed my impact hits, and I've misfired the last 2 turns, preventing me from using the steam engine, so I haven't been able to do any grinding. So we've just been having a big old pillow fight, which will continue on until the end of the game with neither of those units getting beaten. So on the dwarf's turn, he charges into the hammer unit, and this is the only picture I think I took for this. You can see he reformed the horde to face the tower. But yeah, he ended up killing all but 7 in the unit, so they're pretty much screwed. I need to have the game end this turn to win, but I do stick and bounce him out. The game doesn't end, so we go to Empire turn 5. I charge in my spearmen into the back, my demigryphs into the flank of this unit, and I just need some amazing fucking rolling to eliminate these guys, and then just an act of God to keep that horde out of the tower next turn for me to have any chance to win at this point. So in close combat, his BSB declares a challenge. My Demigryph Knight champion has to accept. So he does 1 wound to me, I do none to him. I do manage to kill 2 more of the hammers, and he only kills 1 more of my spearmen. So we win, but he's stubborn, and this is where I reform. I'm dropping the ranks down just to get more attacks. I don't know if that was smart or not, but it ultimately isn't going to matter a huge deal. So we go into dwarf turn. He did charge the tower, so that you'll see that in a minute. But I managed to kill the hammers here, and I mean, he's leadership 10. I think even not being stubborn anymore because the hammer's banner is gone, he still needed like a 5 and got it pretty handily. And then here you see that the Longbeards obviously beat the crap out of the great swords. They actually only managed to kill 2 of them, but I did nothing back in return. It was a total flub, and I ended up breaking because they were only on leadership like 6 with no reroll, and I rolled a 10. So they ran away, and then at the end of the turn, he rolled a 5, which ended the game in a victory for the Dwarves. All right, so victory for the dwarves, obviously. Now, I want to actually start this wrap up with an apology to my opponent. As I alluded to at the beginning of this, today was a very, very stressful day for me. Um, and there were so many things about this game that frustrated the shit out of me. So I was very angry during this, pretty much this whole game, and very likely came off like a petulant jackass through half of it. Um, but that's not really the way I like to play, so I would like to make it very public that I apologize to my opponent. And I did at the time, and he said he understood. He knows what's going on that kind of led to all this, so he was cool with it, but I personally hold myself to a higher standard of play like that, so I feel the need to air my dirty laundry and tell all of my viewers how badly this went. Um, all in all, there were just some inexcusable things. I mean, forgetting to put the Hurricanum in my list and then bringing the model anyway was dumb. But I'm still just not getting how to play Empire, I guess is the best way to talk about it. I'm still finding myself moving too much outside of the general's leadership and the BSB, which led to that whole debacle when the mortar blew up on turn one. And I mean, my deployment was bad. My ultimate plan was bad. Um, there really just wasn't any. Like, I don't have any good tactical decisions I made this game to balance out the stupid mistakes I made. Um, I don't even think my list design is good. I need to take my whole thinking with the Empire back down to zero and just try and figure out what I'm doing wrong. I mean, obviously, I know some of you folks will say, "Oh, well, you don't have enough halberdiers. You need to hoard them up," which is fine and good, but at the moment, I don't have the money to add any more models to this army. So I've got to just make do with what I've got. Um, and I think the doing them like 7 by 3 helps because it gets you more attacks, but I'll probably hoard them up later when I can afford to get more models. Um, I'm still not feeling life magic, and maybe it's just because I haven't had a good run of use with it yet. But I don't know. I just there's not enough in it. I may end up giving some other magic lores a try, maybe going heavier on light in the future, and uh, Shadow is kind of interesting to me. I might give that a try, but I'm still not certain where I want to go magic wise. Oh, and a side note, after the last few games I've played with the dwarves, anybody who says that the dwarves don't have a commanding amount of power in the dispel phase is full of crap. They can still pretty much shut down the magic phase, so I don't want to hear it. All in all, I think that the dwarf list was very strong. I don't know how the Empire is supposed to deal with big hordes of toughness 4 things without something like Creeping Doom or Pit of Shades or those kind of spells. And the dwarves are not sure as hell not going to let you get those off. So, um, and with the Spell Eater rune, it's like, okay, you get one try. If you don't 6 dice that one try, they're gonna counter the spell, plus make sure you can't ever cast it again. Most of the time. At least that's what it seems when my dwarf opponent rolls for the 4 up to eat the spell. So, all in all, it was a very unsatisfactory game for me. There was another game that this dwarf player played against our dark elf player that night, and I was so angry and upset at this point. I didn't even bother taking pictures, which frankly was probably better because just being able to relax and watch the game and not worry about getting the pictures and getting everything else did help me calm down the rest of the night. So that was very cathartic. Um, but so we'll still have our normal games on Tuesday, so we'll get more battle reports in this week, but only one for tonight. So I hope you guys watch or enjoyed watching me just get stomped, and hopefully it'll be have been a more enjoyable experience for you than it has for me. If you do like what you saw, please like and subscribe to the channel. Um, for those of you who may not have liked what you saw here, please give another video a chance. I'm not normally this dour and unhappy about the games. So, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully we'll have a better battle for you next time. See you later.